Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss on a new topic, that is what is submarine. Well, a submarine is a watercraft capable of independent operation underwater. It differs from a submersible which has more limited underwater capability. It is also sometimes used historically to refer to remotely operated vehicles and robots, as well as medium-sized or small vessels such as mid-gauge submarine and wet sub. Now, discussing on the topic that how a submarine diving and the surfacing happens. Well, a submarine or a ship can float because of the weight of the water that it displaces is equal to the weight of the ship. This displacement of water creates an upward force called the buoyant force and acts opposite to that of the gravity, which pulls the ship down. Unlike a ship, a submarine can control its buoyancy, thus allowing it to sink and surface at will. To control its buoyancy, the submarine has blast tank and auxiliary that can be alternatively filled with water or air. Now, when the submarine is on the surface, the blast tank are filled with air and the submarine's overall density is less than that of the surrounding water. As the submarine dives, the blast tanks are flooded with water and the air in the blast tank is vented from the submarine until its overall density is greater than that of the surrounding water and the submarine began to sink. Now this is called the negative buoyancy. To keep the submarine level at any set depth, the submarine maintains a balance of air and water in the trim tank so that its overall density is equal to the surrounding water, and that is called the neutral buoyancy. We all know the fact that if a material's density is more than that of the water, then it would sink to the bottom. Now, the concept is always there that how the ship that made of steel and the iron and it is very much dense than that of the water, how it floats. The same concept actually goes with the submarine also. Now, submarine actually works with the principle of Archimedes. According to the Archimedes principle, it actually describes the upward buoyant force is exerted on a body immersed in a fluid, whether fully or partially submerged, is equal to the weight of the fluid than that of the water displaced. Now, how the submarine maintain its temperature? The temperature of the ocean surrounding the submarine is typically 39 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 4 degrees Celsius. The metal of the submarine conduct internal heat to the surrounding water. So submarine must be electrically heated to maintain the temperature. For the electrical power for the heaters comes from the nuclear reactor, diesel engine or battery emergency. There must be always a question that how do submarines stand against the massive pressure of water? Well, to know about this, we need to go depth on the concept. Now, these submarines are designed to go to the depth of sea and the oceans. As we know, the water pressure increases proportionally to the depth of the water, taking P equal to HdG, where H denotes the depth, D denotes the density of the fluid, and G that denotes the gravity. At 600 meters of depth of the pressure is 6 times the pressure of the surface. The pressure of the water pushing inward is the biggest problem for anyone who wants to go to the depth beneath the ocean surface. Now, what are the pressure hulls? These are the outer covering of the vehicle. A light hull is used as an outer non-watertight hull which provides an hydrodynamically efficient surface. The pressure hull is the hull of submarine that holds the difference between the outside and the inside pressure. Water or the air is filled between the spaces of these two hulls. The strongest submarine hulls are made from the hard steel or titanium. Now, speaking about the power supply of the submarine. Nuclear submarines use a nuclear reactor, steam turbines and reducing gearing to drive the main propeller shaft, which provides the forward and reverse thrust in the water. An electric motor drives the same shaft when docking or an emergency. A diesel submarine is a very good example of a hybrid vehicle. Most diesel subs have 2 or more diesel engines. The diesel engine can run the propeller or they can run the generator that recharge a very large battery tank. Or they can work in combination, one engine driving the propeller and the other that driving a generator. Once the batteries are fully charged, the submarine can run underwater. The batteries power electric motors drive the propellers. Battery operation is the only way a submarine can actually submerge. The limits of the battery technology severely constrain the amount of the time a diesel sub can stay underwater. We must conceptually understand how a submarine under the water that actually works. Well, light doesn't penetrate very far into the ocean, so submarine must navigate through the water virtually blind. However, submarines are equipped with navigational chart and the sophisticated navigational equipment. When on the surface, a sophisticated global position system, which is also known as the GPS, accurately determines the latitude and the longitude. But this system cannot work under the submarine, which is already submerged. Underwater, the submarine uses the inertial guidance system. Now this can be a electrical or a mechanical that keep the track of the ship motion from a fixed starting point using the gyroscope. Now this guidance system are accurately to 150 hours of operation and must be realigned by other surface dependent navigational system, GPS, radio, radar or satellite. With this system on board, a submarine can accurately navigate and be within 100 feet of its intended course. Now we must be thinking how a submarine that locate a target. To locate a target, a submarine uses an active and a passive sonar. Now this sonar that stand for sound, navigation and ranging. Active sonar emit pulses or a sound waves that travels through the water and it reflects off to the target and return back to the ship. But knowing the speed of the sound in water and the time for the sound it takes to travel to the target and back, the computer quickly calculates the distance between the submarine and the target. And the same concept is actually used by whales, dolphins and the bats. Now this is actually called the echolocation. Passive sonar uses involving sound generated by the target. Sonar system can also be used to realign the navigational system by identifying known ocean floor features. We must be thinking of the fact that how the men or the crew that need the oxygen to breathe actually survive inside the submarine. Well, to meet this, we use the process of electrolysis. Electrolysis is the process which is used to separate the oxygen and the hydrogen by passing the DC current to water. Water is readily available from the ocean and also electricity is available to the batteries. And the problem is, speaking about the rescue part of the submarine, there are three main problems of life support in a closed environment of submarine. The first one is maintaining the air quality, and secondly, maintaining the fresh water supply, and lastly, maintaining the temperature. Rescue attempt from the surface must occur quickly, usually within 48 hours of the accident. Attempts will typically involving trying to get some type of rescue vehicle down to remove the crew or to attach some type of device to raise the submarine from the seafloor. Rescue vehicles including the mini submarines called the Deep Submergence Rescue Vehicle, which is also known as DSRV, and diving bells are used to rescue. Let's discuss about some of the interesting facts on submarine. Submarines are usually referred to as boats instead of ships. Submarines were developed during the World War I, 1914 to 1918, but today many countries use them. There are some small submarines as well that can stay underwater for a couple of hours, but there are some huge submarines as well. The biggest submarine that ever made is the Russian Typhoon class. They can stay underwater for more than 6 months. The Royal Navy has 74 submarines. Torpedoes is the most important weapon of ant submarine. They are developed in the year of 90th century. Submarine use a blast tank that enables them to submerge as well as to go onto the surface. The hulls are made from titanium and steel so that they can sustain the water pressure under the ocean. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like, comment and share. See you in next video.